If you clicked on this video, something inside you already knows this message is for you. This is inner authority. There's a version of you that only exists when you're being watched. Notice it, the way your tone shifts, the way you soften your opinions, the way you carefully measure your reactions so no one feels uncomfortable. You call it being mature. You call it being understanding. But deep down, you know it's something else. It's performance. Somewhere along the way, you learned that being fully yourself was risky. Maybe it cost you connection. Maybe it made someone withdraw. Maybe it triggered rejection. You weren't strong enough to process at the time, so you adapted. You became observant, strategic, pleasant. You became easy to keep. And slowly, without realizing it, you started living for the audience instead of your own alignment. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The more you perform, the less you are respected. Not because people are cruel, but because human psychology reads performance as negotiation. When your personality adjusts to secure approval, you silently communicate that approval is more important than authenticity. And power never grows where approval is the currency. You think you're being kind by overexplaining yourself. You think you're being patient by tolerating subtle disrespect. You think you're being loving by constantly proving your loyalty. But what you're actually doing is training people to expect access to you without earning it. And every time you do that, a quiet resentment builds inside. That resentment isn't anger at them. It's disappointment in yourself. Because there's another part of you, a still part, a heavier part, the one that notices everything but says nothing. The one that feels the shift in energy when someone takes you for granted. The one that wants to pull back, but doesn't because you're afraid of being misunderstood. That's the part we're talking to right now. The strongest individuals are not the loudest or the coldest. They are the ones who can exist without needing to be mirrored. They don't scan the room for reactions before speaking. They don't edit their preferences to fit the atmosphere. They don't shrink their standards to maintain temporary peace. They are internally sourced. And that's what you're rebuilding. You don't need to become ruthless. You don't need to cut everyone off. What you need is to stop leaking your energy into impressions. When you enter a conversation, notice how often you shape yourself to match the other person. Notice how often you laugh when something isn't funny. Notice how often you agree when your body feels resistance. Your body always knows first. The tightness in your chest. The slight pause before you respond. The urge to clarify your worth. Those are signals that you're stepping out of alignment. Power returns the moment you stop overriding those signals. Emotional detachment is not indifference. It's self-trust in action. It's the ability to let someone misunderstand you without scrambling to correct the narrative. It's allowing silence to exist after you speak instead of filling it with nervous justification. When you stop performing, something interesting happens. Some people become uncomfortable. They might ask if you're okay. They might accuse you of changing. They might try to provoke the old version of you because that version was easier to predict. But this is not a loss. This is a filter activating in real time. When you withdraw performance, only those who value your authenticity will stay. And yes, it feels lonely at first, because you were used to being needed. You were used to being the emotional stabilizer. You were used to being the one who adjusts. Removing that role creates space. And space feels like abandonment when you built your identity around usefulness. But this is where identity rebuild begins. You are not here to be useful at the cost of yourself. You are here to be solid. There's a quiet confidence that forms when you no longer rush to respond. When you allow people to sit with their own discomfort. When you stop offering reassurance every time someone questions your boundaries. You don't need to announce your standards. You enforce them through consistency. Consistency is more intimidating than aggression. When your reactions are no longer driven by fear of losing someone, your energy changes. You become less reactive, less available for drama, less impressed by charm, and more observant of patterns. That's the power shift. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do they align with me? That single shift restructures your entire emotional landscape. Suddenly, you're not chasing validation. You're evaluating compatibility. You're not bending to avoid conflict. You're willing to let friction expose incompatibility. You're not explaining your silence. You're using it strategically. Silence is not weakness. It's containment. When you contain your energy, you create gravity. People feel it. They may not understand it, but they sense the difference. You're no longer easy to read because you're no longer trying to be read. You're grounded in your own internal approval. And here's the paradox. The less you try to secure attention, the more your presence commands it. But this isn't about becoming mysterious or manipulative. It's about becoming whole. A person who doesn't fracture themselves into versions depending on the audience. A person who can lose connection without losing identity. That's strength. It means you're willing to disappoint others if it means not abandoning yourself. It means you can say no without crafting a detailed explanation. It means you can watch someone walk away and remain steady because you understand that attachment built on performance was never secure to begin with. The rain doesn't ask permission to fall. It doesn't adjust its rhythm for approval. It exists fully in its nature. Quiet, persistent, unapologetic. You are allowed to be the same. You don't need to become louder. You need to become truer. Strip away the rehearsed responses. Stop predicting reactions. Let people interpret you however they want. The ones meant for your life will not require you to dilute yourself. And the ones who leave were attached to a role you were playing. This is not a transformation that happens overnight. It's a series of small refusals. Refusing to overexplain. Refusing to chase. Refusing to perform. Refusing to beg for clarity from someone who benefits from your confusion. Each refusal strengthens your spine. Each moment of self-trust rebuilds your identity from the inside out. One day you'll notice something subtle but powerful. You'll be in a room, speaking normally without scanning faces. You'll express a boundary without your heart racing. You'll let silence sit without panicking. And you'll realize you're no longer acting. You're just being. That's when you know the shift is complete. Not because everyone approves. Not because you never feel doubt. But because your sense of self is no longer negotiated in real time. You don't perform for connection. You allow connection to rise or fall based on truth. And that is authority. This is inner authority, where you don't beg for attention. You remember your value. Subscribe if you're ready to take your power back.